Hello, students. One of the students posted this on the discussion board. I copied here to discuss it in more details. And to show you, one good thing she did was that she was not sure whether she wanted to open a limited liability company, LLC, or S corporation. And then the way she is trying to say, and it's a very good and interesting case because it compares the taxes, and it's very important you all understand, where the taxes go. You have a paycheck, you want to know what happens to the taxes you pay on your paycheck. If you have a business, your family, your parents have a business, you want to know what happens to the taxes. In this case, she is saying that in the bakery she makes, she sells $100,000 and the rent is 12,000, and then other expenses 20, five food related 25,000, and miscellaneous 6,000. And she wants to know for 2024 if her company that she had opened was LLC, she would have paid more taxes, or S corporation. Which one should she choose? Because it makes a big difference. When you register a company, you open a company, you want to know which one is better. Now, let me show you the calculation that she is going to have under LLC, for example. For LLC, let's see. The net profit that she has for now is $57,000 because she made 100,000. She sold $100,000. Then she had rent and these expenses. The total money remained is $57,000. Now let's see how she has to pay taxes on this $57,000. If it is an LLC, what she does is that she has to pay taxes for Social Security and Medicare because it is a self-employment tax. You all know that you are paying also. If you don't have your own business, you are paying for Social Security and for Medicare. You are paying 4 types of taxes in your paycheck. One of them is federal. That is the one that you know about, IRS. You go and file your taxes. That's a different type of tax than these 2 taxes that you pay, which is Social Security and Medicare. Think about this Social Security and Medicare as the money that comes back to you when you retire. That's for your Social Security, and you pay Medicare. Somewhat is coming back, not all of it, but some of it will come back to you. Therefore, how much of it, of your paycheck, how much of this person made $57,000, how much of it goes for her Social Security and Medicare? 15.3%. In fact, even if you don't have a business, you are working for a company, usually around 15.3%, or let's say around 16% goes for your Social Security and and for your Medicare. And then out of that, this is $8,000 of this $57,000 goes for Social Security and Medicare. Now she also has to pay to the IRS. This 12%, as I said, is the one that we always file our taxes, our accountants with the IRS. Therefore, she is paying $6,000 here to the IRS, plus she's paying $8,721. Almost that's for her retirement, Social Security, and Medicare. When we add these 2 numbers together, the total taxes she pays is $15,561. Let's not forget we didn't include state taxes, but for simplicity, just think about it that in the case of LLC, she is paying $15,000. Now, if her company was S corporation, what could happen? In S corporation, one advantage she has, she can say, okay, I am the employee of my organization. Then she gets how much? $40,000. Therefore, when she gets, let's not forget that in the first case, she first claimed 57,000. The Social Security that she paid, which is here, and Medicare was paid based on $57,000. But now she's saying that she is the employee of her own company, and she is saying that her income from the company as an employee is 40,000. Therefore, out of 40,000, she has to pay Social Security and has to pay, Medicare. On this one, instead of on 57,000 paying 15%, on 40,000 she is paying 15%. Look at here. On that, on 40,000 she is paying. Therefore, she is paying less in Social Security compared to this case that she paid 8,000 because it was on 50,000, 57,000. Therefore, when she paid less on Social Security, also she had to pay the same amount, in this case, 57,000 times 12%. This is what the IRS gets. Do you see the IRS gets the same amount in both cases? In here, she gets 6,800, goes to IRS. In this case, 6,800 goes to the IRS. However, the difference is that in the S corporation, she's paying less taxes, 12,000, and in this case, she paid more taxes. Why? Because on this one, she contributed more to her retirement account. I call it, Social Security, and I call it, tax. Therefore, in this case, it might be in her advantage to open an S corporation rather than opening a LLC, company, because she will pay less for her Social Security and Medicare. When she retires, maybe she gets a little bit less. There are different calculations for how much she gets on Social Security, but overall, to give you a general idea, I would say that it is better for her to have an S corporation. But when she opens an S corporation, do you see she says she pays 2,600 less in taxes, and therefore, but she has to do more paperwork in doing so. I took it one step further, and I said, now, if she had opened an C corporation, not S corporation, what would have been her taxes? In that case, then she could come and she had to pay one rate first at federal tax. As soon as she makes some money, they say the federal government, IRS, comes and says, oh, you made 57,000, you have to pay 25% right in on top of that. Therefore, that is a corporation that first has to pay 11,000. Let's not forget, in the previous cases, she did not, to the IRS, she didn't pay 11,000. To the IRS, I gave you to example. Here, to the IRS, in both cases, she paid only how much? 6,800, whether it was LLC or whether it was C, LLC or S corporation. But here, IRS right away gets 21% of it, which is $11,900. Then what happens is that because she is the only owner, what she does is she is going to take the rest of the money as, as a profit. In this case, there is not such a thing as Social Security. Social Security is not involved. Why? Because there is not such a thing at the moment as she being the employee of, her S corporation, C corporation. Therefore, when this money goes to her, this money is more like she has made interest. You put the money, you get interest. She is the owner of this C corporation. Therefore, this money goes to her as income. That is not, because Social Security usually goes, they take it from your salary. This is not the salary. This is the profit that she has made, the corporation, which is a separate entity, has made 45,000. As the owner of that corporation, she takes this money out. It's just like a dividend. It is just the money that is paid off. Therefore, if she goes and says she wants to contribute this from her social security, contribute taxes on it, IRS doesn't accept it because it says that this money should have come from your income from work. This is not an income from work. There she has to pay taxes on this one as well. How does she tax? The taxes are different. This is a different. Do you remember there was a tax bracket? For example, this is 15%. Then she has to pay 15% off on this one. This is called double taxation because one time the IRS got the money from her I got $11,970. Now the IRS says, oh, this is a profitable company for her, and she has to pay taxes on $45,000. This is not a personal income tax in terms of, although it goes to her, but it is looked at as dividend. It's just like as she had a company, like you all buy stocks. This is like has got money from the stocks of her company, and that's the dividend, 45,000, and she has to pay 15% on this. She pays that. She is not contributing anything to her retirement at this account because this is not, Then she comes here, and therefore 15% of that will be $6,754. And do you see that in the other cases, she had to pay to the IRS around $6,800 in LLC and C corporation. This is almost equal to that. Plus, she has paid here $11,000. The problem with this $11,000 is that it didn't go to her retirement for her social security. When we add them together, in this case, the total taxes that is being paid is $18,000. And now your question would be, why should she go and open C Corporation? C Corporation has its own advantages as well. You have all read in the chapter. For now, we don't get. I asked ChatGPT that could you put all of these into let's okay. She explained. I asked ChatGPT, could you put these into a kind of into look at here? She put ChatGPT and said that put all of them and where this $18,000 taxes that she pays for C Corporation, $11,000 at the corporate level tax. That her company paid $11,000 to the IRS, and then again this one goes to the IRS. Both of these, let's not forget, go to the IRS. But on the other ones, on the other two, the money went to the Social Security for when she retired. Therefore, I asked ChatGPT, could you kindly put them in a table for me? That way I can compare all of this. And here ChatGPT put it. Don't be shy to ask ChatGPT to put them in table. It will do for you. When I copied, the copy didn't look great in Microsoft Word, but here put it in a very clear manner. Here is that in the first case, corporate, taxes, let's see, and put it, but that's okay. This is the 18,000. By putting this, I meant to put all three cases. I wanted the IRS to put, this is just for C Corporation. I wanted to put, let me see if can you put the taxes for C, LLC, and S Corporation in a table, That way I show students. Let's see whether it will remember, because I put that long time ago. Absolutely. Let me see if it is going to put all of them. Look at how nicely it's going to put. That's wonderful. I am so pleased that it put it this way, and you all see the total taxes paid for each one of the scenarios. In one case, it is put LLC. In the S Corporation, it forgot to put the social security taxes. It only put the IRS taxes, or just put the social. It had to put that one in here as well. And this is for, SC corporation. Do you see C corporation? Each one of these, this one came, I think, to 15,000. This one came maybe to 16,000. It didn't put that one in there. And now this is for, C corporation. Now, why should she put? She might have an advantage to open C corporation. Imagine that S corporation, suppose one of the problems with S corporation is that if her business expands, she can bring as many as 50 more partners and sell stocks to them. But if suddenly she decides to open a huge company like Apple, therefore in that case she cannot bring, let's say, a 50,000, 100,000 shareholders. In that case, maybe the IRS tells her, no, in that case, she has to go and open, a C corporation. And by doing so, then she will have other advantages as well. She can go and raise money. Sometimes, if it is a huge company, let's say the banks, the big banks, don't give, they don't want to give as much money to S corporation. But if it is a C corporation, they they might provide better financing. Therefore, there are advantages also. This concept of the IRS double taxes there in this company is called the concept of double taxation. And as you see, the double taxation, you all saw in here that the IRS, they got two taxes from here. One time it came back and then it charged 11,970 at corporate level, because corporate was a different entity. They look at it, and she paid 21%. It went all to the pocket of the IRS. This one also, again, when she took $45,000 of profit, out, then that again went to the IRS. That means 18,724 went to the IRS. However, in other cases, she paid less to the IRS, and the rest of the money, each one of them was around $13,000, $14,000 instead of 18,000. And even half of it went for her Social Security and Medicare. You always like to see that if a tax is going out, it's going out to your Social Security rather than going to the pocket of IRS. When we say we want to pay less taxes, our goal is to pay less taxes to the IRS. Therefore, this is what the companies are struggling to do. However, you also learn for her, S corporation was much better because she paid less even for her Social Security and less for her Medicare. Because let me tell you something about Medicare. To be qualified for Medicare, you need to pay something for a period from your salary for maybe 10 years until you be qualified for Medicare. Let's say if you paid for 10 years, then anything extra you pay for your Medicare is not going to, help you anymore, because you already have the Medicare after you pay 10 years of taxes. Therefore, why should you pay extra and extra and extra for Medicare? Sometimes you pay extra for your retirement. Your retirement paycheck goes a little bit higher and higher. Therefore, for retirement, for Social Security check, when you pay higher, then most likely, not always, but most likely you get a bigger paycheck when you retire. But when you pay huge amount for 30 years, you pay for your Medicare, only 10 years of it will count. The rest of them don't count. Therefore, somehow, why it is better maybe to open an S corporation, because you are not contributing more than 10 years. Let's say if she wants to keep the business for. In that case, she is not contributing as much to her Medicare. And also, if you work more than 35 years, even when you contribute to your, retirement account, which is contribute, if you are taxed, when I say contribute, I mean you are taxed Therefore, it is not going to help you as much because the Social Security Office looks at 35 years of your work and how much you pay. Anything extra, there are some calculation of when I say extra, might not help you anything. It won't give you a bigger, retirement check. Therefore, these are important things to know. If you understand, if you have a business, if your parents have the business, it's a great idea to know about it. And even if you do not know, ask ChatGPT, ask accountant. And sometimes ChatGPT might make a mistake. Don't think that everything that you get from ChatGPT is accurate. Sometimes it does some calculation. I go there and say, "Oh, you made a mistake." It says, "I'm sorry, you are right." What you see is a general idea for to know about it. Regarding your personal taxes also, when you go and say how much, imagine these are of course was company. For your personal taxes, you always check your W-2. If I were you, you already filed most likely your taxes for this year. Your accountant filed for you. You go and use that one and put the numbers there in the computer as well. See what ChatGPT tells you compared to what your accountants say. But remember that you already have paid, your employer has deducted already taxes for Social Security, for Medicare. Look at them. One thing about Social Security taxes, you always pay for, if you are employed, you pay 6%, your employer matches 6%, around 6%, it becomes 12%. That's when you are employed. If you are not employed, you have your own company, you have to pay 12%. Why 12%? Because 6% is yours, 6% is supposed to be an employer. When you combine them, they are 12%. That's the same rate as if you were an employee. For Medicare, you pay around 2%, your employer pays around 2%, it will be 4%. Here you saw, as I said, here when you have company also, when you pay social, Medicare, that is around 4%. It's around, 3 and something. Therefore, I want you to pay a lot of attention, learn as much as about taxes. The goal is what? To understand when you retire, you want to have a good Social Security check. You want to make sure you have Medicare. You want to make sure that you are not paying a lot of money to IRS. What strategies do you want to pay less money to the IRS? If you are opening a small restaurant, it would be crazy that you could make your restaurant as C corporation. However, if you have a big things in mind, let's say you think you are going to open a company becoming as big as, huge company, therefore maybe American Woodmark or something, then in that case you have to see which one of them, would be in your best advantage. And some big companies also create LLC. There are different issues, but I am happy this student asked a very good question, because this student said, should I open LLC or S corporation? And ChatGPT was able to analyze it for her. The more you know about the taxes, the better it is. Constantly come here, calculate your taxes. And those of you who contributed to IRA, remember you have to tell to the IRS. That way you get some money back from the IRS. If you have any questions, let me know.